Well, this storm follows closely behind the brutal nor'easter that ravaged towns in the Northeast just days ago. The ongoing cleanup and power outages from that storm has left many unprepared for what's coming today.
CBS News weather producer David Parkinson is here to tell us what to expect. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
So tell us about the storm's path throughout the day. Don's in Philly, which is about 2 hours away. I'm looking outside our windows here, nothing. So what are we looking at?
Right. Well, so eventually we're going to switch over, but the key right now is the wind. So I threw on some wind arrows to the radar map, and the key thing that you're noticing here is they're fetching off of the east, and that's a warm ocean air. As soon as they switch around to the northeast, then you're going to bring in the cold air, then we can go over to all snow, and then it can really start snowing pretty heavily. But Philadelphia right now is all snow, and I don't think they're going to actually switch over. They're probably going to stay all snow all day long.
Yeah, you know, I get on the train at around midnight or so, and it was snowing then. Obviously, sort of that wet type of snow that wasn't building. But I read your emails, and you know, Don Daler was talking about.
I read them too.
Well, Don Daler was talking about the wind and that it won't be as windy. But in one of your emails that you sent out to us to keep us informed, you said, you know, your concern is that the ground is so saturated from the last storm that it won't take the same amount of wind to pull some of these trees down.
Correct, right. So the wind out of this storm may only have 40-mile-an-hour gusts in the Philly suburbs, but that's more than enough to take things down because when you talk about that wet snow, this snow, Lonnie referred to it on CTN this morning as spackle. You can call it wet cement, call it whatever you want. Snowball snow, like it's the kind of snowball that can hurt somebody. Like, this is really dense snow, but it's the kind of snow that when you weigh it down on the trees, it's really going to take them down pretty easily. So when you're looking at sort of this future radar that we've got up for you, you see all that pink in there? That may be a sleet, that may be just a super wet snow. And that's an example of you've got hours of that going on until you get to the evening commute time tonight. Look at that. At 5 p.m., it's just dumping snow in New York City, and then at 8:30, then it starts to hit the Boston metro area and Connecticut. So even if we don't get snow for all of the hours, even if you get a sleet or a little bit of a rain, don't worry, we're still going to hit those snow totals, or worry, we are going to hit those snow totals, and that's because it's going to snow so hard, so fast that they're really going to pile up. So here's the intense banding that we're talking about. 12:30 in the afternoon, it's snowing at 2 to 3 inches per hour on the main line of Philadelphia. You go through to 5:30 p.m., you see that orange, that's 2 to 3 in New York, maybe even a 3 to 4 out on Long Island. Again, as you go through the nighttime hours, then it makes it up into Boston, but those do the math, right? 2 or 3 inches per hour over 3 hours is 6 to 9 inches. So when we say you're going to get a foot just outside of Philly, 9 in Philly, 9 in New York, 9 in Hartford, 9, let's see, between 128 and 495 in Boston, it's all just because it adds up so quickly. And then you add in the elevational things, and then you add in these little fingers of bands of snow. And that's where you're looking at the really large snow totals that, you know, it's a widespread foot, and then maybe we'll get a 16 because of that kind of banding. Again, that wind, as you get further interior, you're going to be seeing less wind, but it doesn't matter. That snow is falling so hard. It is so heavy. It's heart attack snow is what we refer to it because it's so hard to shovel.
Right.
And then you...
That's not funny because it's true.
Not,
people, you know, who haven't worked out and whatever, try to move the snow off of their
Correct. It's very serious. And
yeah.
then you add in some 40-mile-an-hour gusts to that, and that's more than enough to cause a lot of power problems.
So Siri says it's going to be above freezing over the next couple of days and up to 50 on Friday. Will the snow stick around?
The snow, it's going to take a little while to melt just because it is so, you know, dense. But I think once it starts melting, the good news is this may be our last one. Now, I don't want to jinx us.
I heard something like there might be something coming Sunday into Monday.
Right. So earlier in the week, I was looking at a Monday to Tuesday potential nor'easter. Okay. Here's the deal. It looks like there's going to be a lot of moisture to the south, and then there may be a little bit to the north. But it doesn't look those two pieces are going to come together. And if they don't come together, then you don't have to worry about a big nor'easter, but maybe you'll get a couple inches of snow. But here's the deal. Here's why I'm thinking this may be the last. Look, after March 15th, the snow is so high in the sky. It's basically a late September, early October snow angle, right? So that makes it harder to snow. Then we have something called the NAO. It's the North Atlantic Oscillation. And essentially what that means is you get a more wavy jet stream. When it's negative, like it is right now, and it was super negative a couple days ago, that's how you get these nor'easters. When it's positive, it's a lot harder to do it. So you combine those two things together, plus a warmer looking end of the month, this may be the last big one. But a reminder, last year, March 20th, a week before I started, we had that snowstorm that wasn't in the city, but it certainly was in some of the suburbs. There have been April blizzards. It's not out of the question, but the odds are forever in our favor that we will not be having another big snowstorm.
Bring on
One can only hope.
That lamb version of March.
That's
right.
Yes. It's got to switch at some point.
Yeah.
Right now, it's still a line. I'm looking forward to the lamb. David Parkinson, always good to have you, my friend. Thank you.
Good to see you guys.